Chapter 1: The Birth of a Segregationist Colony. In the early 20th century, amidst a backdrop of racial tensions, a segregationist colony emerged, born out of a desire to preserve a way of life separate from the rest of society. The founders, driven by their ideologies, sought solace in the creation of a self-contained community. They carefully selected a location and established the foundations of their secluded world. Motivated by a belief in their own superiority, the pioneers of the segregationist colony aimed to protect their values and culture from what they perceived as encroaching threats. They erected governance structures, built infrastructure, and formed institutions tailored to their exclusive vision. However, the birth of the colony was not without its challenges. The founders faced adversity in the form of limited resources, hostile reactions from the surrounding communities, and internal struggles. Despite these obstacles, they persevered, driven by a fervent commitment to their segregated ideals. Little did they know that their fervor would sow the seeds of division, ultimately leading to the collapse of the very nation they sought to build. Chapter 2: Building a Nation in Isolation. As the segregationist colony solidified its foundation, the visionaries behind it embarked on the arduous task of building a nation in isolation. Determined to create a self-sustaining community, they focused on establishing robust governance structures, developing essential infrastructure, and fostering a distinct social fabric. Schools, businesses, and government institutions took shape, providing the necessary framework for the segregated community to thrive. The colonists zealously guarded their way of life, crafting laws and regulations that reinforced their desired separation from the outside world. They sought to preserve their cherished values and protect their perceived superiority. However, the very act of isolating themselves from diverse perspectives and experiences proved to be a double-edged sword. The absence of external influence hindered the growth and innovation necessary for a nation to thrive. Echo chambers emerged, reinforcing their own biases and limiting their potential for progress. Undeterred, the segregationist nation forged ahead, their determination unwavering. Yet, unbeknownst to them, the isolation that once provided a sense of security would eventually contribute to their downfall. The seeds of division were firmly planted, setting the stage for the collapse that would follow. Chapter 3: Deepening Divisions. Within the walls of the segregationist colony-turned-nation, deepening divisions began to corrode the very fabric of the community. The segregationist ideology, once a unifying force, proved to be a divisive sword that severed bonds and fueled animosity among its inhabitants. As time went on, the exclusivity that defined the colony took a toll on its unity. Racial, ethnic, and social divisions deepened, leading to exclusion and marginalization. Instead of fostering cooperation and understanding, the nation became a fragmented landscape of competing factions, each fiercely protecting their own interests. Echo chambers emerged, where like-minded individuals reinforced their own biases, further entrenching the divisions. The absence of diverse perspectives stifled innovation and growth, leaving the nation stagnant while the world outside progressed. The once promising vision of the segregationist colony began to crumble under the weight of its own narrow-mindedness. The lack of a cohesive national identity further weakened the nation, rendering it vulnerable to external pressures. In the following chapters, we will explore how these deepening divisions, both internal and external, ultimately led to the collapse of the segregationist colony-turned-nation, serving as a stark reminder of the perils of division and the importance of unity. Chapter 4: Economic Challenges and Isolation. The segregationist colony-turned-nation faced formidable economic challenges as it grappled with the consequences of its isolationist policies. The very principles that had shaped its foundation and sustained its existence would become the barriers to its economic prosperity. The colony's emphasis on segregation meant limited external investment and trade opportunities. Other nations, observing its discriminatory practices, imposed sanctions and restrictions, effectively isolating the nation from the global marketplace. As a result, the economy stagnated, lacking the necessary influx of capital, technology, and expertise to thrive. Furthermore, the absence of diversity within the nation hindered innovation and progress. Without exposure to different ideas, cultures, and perspectives, the nation fell behind in industries and sectors that thrived on creativity and adaptability. The segregationist colony-turned-nation became increasingly disconnected from the global landscape, its economy faltering under the weight of self-imposed isolation. The lack of diversity and a vibrant marketplace of ideas exacerbated its economic challenges, contributing to the eventual collapse of the nation. In the forthcoming chapters, we will delve deeper into the fragments of a fading dream as the economic struggles further unravel the fabric of the segregationist colony-turned-nation. Chapter 5: Fragments of a Fading Dream. The once promising vision of the segregationist colony-turned-nation began to crumble, leaving behind fragments of a fading dream. Deepening divisions and mounting challenges had taken a toll, eroding the very essence of the community and sowing the seeds of its eventual collapse. As social unrest escalated, the nation became a breeding ground for animosity and hostility. The divisions that had once defined the colony now tore it apart from within. Factions formed along racial, ethnic, and social lines, each fiercely protecting its own interests and disregarding the collective well-being. The erosion of unity was mirrored by a dwindling belief in the sustainability of the segregationist ideology. Support waned as the nation faced the harsh realities of its isolation and the consequences of its discriminatory practices. The dream of a prosperous and separate nation crumbled under the weight of internal strife and external pressures. The segregated community, once touted as a beacon of a particular way of life, faded into oblivion, leaving behind a cautionary tale of the perils of division and the importance of embracing diversity and inclusivity. In the following chapters, we will explore the final stages of the segregationist colony-turned-nation, examining the collapse and drawing lessons from its demise. Chapter 6: The Collapse and Lessons Learned. The inevitable collapse of the segregationist colony-turned-nation marked the end of a turbulent and divisive chapter in history. The culmination of deepening divisions, economic challenges, and isolation ultimately led to the demise of the once promising community. As the nation crumbled, its infrastructure decayed, its institutions faltered, and its social fabric tore apart. The segregationist ideology, which had once held the community together, now lay shattered, revealing the inherent flaws in a system built on exclusion and discrimination. The collapse served as a stark reminder of the dangers of division and the perils of isolation. It demonstrated that unity, inclusivity, and diversity are the foundations upon which thriving nations are built. The segregationist colony's downfall became a cautionary tale, resonating with societies worldwide and prompting reflection on the importance of embracing the richness of different cultures, perspectives, and experiences. From the ashes of its collapse emerged valuable lessons: the need to foster understanding and empathy, the imperative to bridge divides, and the recognition that the strength of a nation lies in its ability to embrace diversity and work towards a shared vision. As we conclude this journey through the rise and fall of the segregationist colony-turned-nation, we are reminded that it is through unity, inclusivity, and a commitment to common values that societies can truly flourish and withstand the test of time. May the lessons learned from this historical episode guide us towards a future marked by harmony and mutual respect. Conclusion: a cautionary tale for unity and inclusivity. The story of the segregationist colony-turned-nation that ultimately collapsed serves as a powerful cautionary tale, underscoring the critical importance of unity and inclusivity in the fabric of a thriving society. The rise and fall of this community reveal the inherent dangers of division, discrimination, and isolation. As the nation embraced a segregated ideology, it inadvertently sowed the seeds of its own demise. Deepening divisions, economic challenges, and a lack of diversity hindered progress, stifled innovation, and ultimately led to its collapse. This cautionary tale resonates far beyond the confines of its specific historical context. It stands as a reminder to societies across the world of the dangers of exclusion, prejudice, and the rejection of diversity. It emphasizes the need to cultivate understanding, empathy, and collaboration in order to build prosperous and sustainable communities. In an increasingly interconnected world, the lessons from this episode are more relevant than ever. Let this cautionary tale guide us towards a future where unity and inclusivity prevail, where the richness of diverse cultures and perspectives is celebrated, and where societies flourish by embracing the strength that comes from standing together.